Hello again, Susanna here, your intimacy, intuitive, and spiritual guidance counselor. With my little Pisces mermaid backdrop that I absolutely love. I think my camera's a little crooked. There we go. A little better. Still seems a little wee bit off. Now that I got it going there. Alrighty. So this I got Lucy helping. Lucy and Baru, guest assistant Baru. So this video is about, I keep getting questions about, and the questions are worded differently, but what I kind of narrowed it down to is, why are we afraid to follow our dreams? Why are we afraid to take chances at happiness? You know, more so. You know, it's easy to be afraid of not wanting to take a risk to do something, you know, risky or dangerous or scary or whatever. But so often, even just following our dreams can be scary because we don't know the outcome. It's the fear of the unknown. It's the fear of happiness. And that may sound crazy to some of you, but there are many people, it's just like the people who are afraid to succeed. You know, the fear of failure, that seems like common sense, but the fear of success is a whole nother thing. Because once we get there, and once we're happy, you know, the fear comes in is, how do we maintain it? Is it possible? And Lucy's not afraid of water. My little murdog. I love it, she's so happy. And I'm too white to be out in direct sunlight, so I'll go in when the sun goes down. But so why? So question being, why are we afraid? Why are we afraid to be happy? And that's kind of it. It's like, why do we worry before we even have it? You know, again, like we just said, you know, we fear, how are we going to keep it? If we get to this point, if we succeed, if we get famous, whatever, how do we keep it up? What happens once we get there? You know, once you get to what you think is the top, there's only one other way to go, right? Well, no, not necessarily. That's because we limit ourselves. If we reach further, you know, we set our dreams, set our goals, and when we reach them, you know, and many of you are thinking, well, yeah, I went this far, I had this dream, I had this goal, and then when I got there, it's like, then you start reaching higher. You know, you don't just stop. Some people do. Some people are perfectly content at a certain point, and they can coast right there, and it's a beautiful thing, and you're comfortable and happy. But some people, it's not enough. You want to keep going, or you know what? Sometimes it's that. Personally, a fear of mine was, when I get to this point, am I sure I'm going to like it? You know, there's something I want to do, but do I want that? So for example, they're giving me an example of school. So it was my goal and my dream to get a college degree. And the obvious choice was teaching, because I love school. A total nerd, still am. And I loved it. But then, so I thought, obvious, I'm going to be a teacher. So I get my college degree, and I get to the end of it, to the student teaching. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. I don't want any part of this. But, you know, I told myself, you know, I wanted to reach this goal. So I made my last semester, which was my student teaching, the best ever. And I had such a great time. Yet I still didn't really want to do it at the end. And I realized, no, I wanted to be a professional student. Still trying to figure out how to do that, to get paid to go to school. Hi, Drew. Because I love to learn and I love to share the knowledge. And I'm still, I mean, if you consider this teaching, we're teaching you to look deeper into yourself and to find deeper understanding in this human condition and this human experience. And so, again, going back to reaching those goals. So, you know, most people get a college degree. That's great. That's their goal. They think that's where they want to stop. But what happens next? Then you go up to the master's program. You know, you get to a PhD, doctorate, whatever, and keep going. You just keep adding on. Whether you use it or not, it's increasing that knowledge and taking your goals higher. So there's always another step. I chose to go backwards a little bit. So I got up there, and it was fine for a while, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, I guess. I had a different ideal in my mind, and when I got there, I was ready for a change. However, I was still proud of myself that I reached that goal, and that was a powerful accomplishment that I am happy that I completed. But then I realized, that wasn't the type of teaching maybe that I wanted to do. So now we're doing it in a different way. But still, that was my calling, and I felt that in my soul, but I was just going about it the wrong way, or in the wrong arena, I guess. So for me, this is more direct and more personal and more specific than teaching high school home ec, which that had its place too, and that was fun as well. But it's, we all evolve and change. It's, going into relationships. People, the ultimate goal is to find the one and get married and have a family and do all that. Well, what happens when you get there and you get tired of each other, or you grow apart, you grow in different directions, because that's what the human experience is about growing and experiencing. And sometimes we start, and again, we learn new things that we want and want to experience. And because there's two different souls involved, we have the free will, and sometimes we go in different directions. It doesn't mean that one person is bad or worse than the other or whatever. It's just things change, people change, and it's not a bad thing. So many people are shocked when people split up and they're still friends. I have some really good friends that I used to date, and Lucy's getting comfortable under the camera. And it's not that they were bad people. A lot of my friends were shocked that I was friends with exes, and it's because we weren't good together in that way, but we still got along great. I mean, that's what brought us together in the first place, right? There's obviously some kind of appeal and some kind of connection. It just wasn't, meant to be in that aspect. So, but as friends, perfect fit, and it's wonderful. And yeah. And even situations, again, we're trying to emphasize more on the relationship aspect for the intimacy and intuitive aspect. So delving deeper in those realms as well. When we hit those goals, again, be happy and content that we hit that goal. And it's about, thank you, going back to that. Again, people are afraid to succeed and afraid for things to go well or go bad. Perfect example they're throwing in now. Had a friend that had been attracted to this man for years, for decades. And he was attracted to her as well, except when in the beginning they were both with other partners. They were both married. And as fate would have it, they came back into contact via the joy of Facebook and social media, and they reconnected, except there was a distance. So they ended up choosing to meet for a weekend and to see where it went, basically. And they had a beautiful weekend, but it just didn't click. And they still had, again, the distance, states apart, and other lives and things to finish up, loose ends to tie up, so to speak, with past people. And it was a beautiful experience. And when my friend came back, she was initially content, and then she started feeling bad about it. That why did she take that step? Why did she go there and risk her heart? Because how else are we going to know? If we don't take these chances and be vulnerable and open up our hearts to see if it's something. This is something you feel you want. You feel your soul is yearning for it. And you get there, and it is a beautiful thing, but how is it going to work, right? Again, distance, it's difficult. So she, like many others, thought, you know what, I shouldn't have done it. It was stupid. Excuse me. And now I'm hurt. Now I'm all emotional because it's not going to work. It's just kind of teasing yourself, teasing your heart. And I told her, it's like, but had you not gone, you would have been wondering your whole life. And she says, well, at least I would have had that fantasy of the wondering. But think about that. It's So many people have done these studies that people on their deathbed, the thing they regret most is what they didn't do, not what they did, not what they did wrong, not what they did right, it's what they didn't do. It's like, oh, I feel like I missed out on something. And I've experienced that in my own personal life right now, in my healthy living life, and so I've learned, you go with the flow. This is the perfect, that's why I wanted the pull for the backdrop for this too. It's learning to just let yourself flow and being okay with that. Drift downstream and see where it goes. At least try it. You don't like it? Pedal back. Kicking and screaming, whatever. At least you tried. And there's something so much more fulfilling about that. So think about that. So think about where you have the fears of moving forward, fear of success, fear of happiness. That's such a big one. We get there, and if you think about it as just having that experience to really thrive and be in the moment and have that to take with you, even if it doesn't last long. Again, going back to relationships that don't work out, there's a beauty if we focus on the positive aspects, not what ended it, but what created it, what blossomed in the beginning. Focusing on the beauty of that and take that into your soul and take that into the next relationship. Take that into every aspect of your being, because there's that joy, and that allows you to open up and be vulnerable and to feel love and happiness. Okay? Don't be afraid of taking chances. Don't be afraid of following your dreams. Okay? So think about that one, focus, and allow yourself to dream.